They built walls so high, they thought they could touch the sky. They amassed armies so vast, they believed they could conquer the world. They carved their names into the very stones of history, convinced their reign would last forever. How wrong they were. Empires, giants astride the landscape of time, their legacies etched in stone, whispered in legends and sometimes buried beneath the sands of forgotten ages. But what whispers rise from those ruins? What secrets do the fallen stones hold about the very nature of power? We gaze upon their grandeur, the sheer scale of their ambition, and we ask, how? How did they rise to such dizzying heights? The conventional narrative often focuses on military might, swords gleaming, legions marching, territories conquered. And yes, military prowess is undeniably a crucial component. A well-trained, well-equipped army is essential for expansion, for defense, for projecting power. The Roman legions, with their disciplined formations and mastery of siegecraft, were instrumental in Rome's rise to dominance. The Mongol hordes, with their unmatched horsemanship and tactical flexibility, swept across Asia, creating the largest contiguous land empire in history. Military strength allowed these empires to expand their territories, secure their borders, and enforce their will upon conquered populations. It was the engine of their expansion, the tool with which they carved their place in history. But it's rarely the sole reason for an empire's ascent. To attribute their success merely to brute force is to miss the far more intricate tapestry of factors at play. Consider the humble seed, a tiny thing, yet it holds the potential for a mighty tree. Similarly, the seeds of empire are often sown in the fertile ground of agricultural surplus. Abundant food supplies free up a portion of the population from the constant struggle for survival. This allows for specialization, the development of crafts, the flourishing of trade. And trade is the lifeblood of empires. It connects distant lands. It facilitates the exchange of goods and ideas. It fuels economic growth. Think of the Silk Road, a network of trade routes that connected East and West, fostering cultural exchange and enriching the empires that controlled it. The wealth generated by trade allowed empires to fund their armies, build impressive infrastructure, and patronize the arts. It was the fuel that powered their growth, the engine that drove their prosperity. Empires like the Ottoman Empire, strategically located at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, benefited immensely from controlling vital trade routes. The flow of goods and wealth through their territories enriched the empire and allowed them to exert considerable influence on the world stage. But even a thriving economy needs a strong hand to guide it. A political system capable of managing resources, organizing labor, and maintaining stability. Think of the intricate bureaucracy of the Persian Empire, with its efficient system of administration and its network of royal roads. Or the sophisticated legal system of the Byzantine Empire, which provided a framework for law and order, facilitating trade and commerce. These weren't just collections of territories. They were complex organisms, each part working in concert with the others. A strong, centralized government is often key to an empire's early growth. It can mobilize resources, direct labor, and enforce laws, creating a stable environment for expansion. The Roman Republic, with its complex system of checks and balances, and later, the Roman Empire, with its efficient bureaucracy, were able to effectively manage a vast territory and a diverse population. This political stability allowed for economic growth and military expansion. The ability to efficiently administer conquered territories and integrate them into the empire was a crucial factor in their success. A well-functioning political system provided the framework for imperial expansion, the structure that supported their growth. And then there's the intangible, the almost mystical element, the idea of empire, a shared vision, a collective ambition, a belief in a common destiny. This ideology, carefully cultivated and disseminated, binds disparate populations together, creating a sense of unity, a shared purpose. It's the invisible glue that holds the empire together, the fire that fuels its expansion. This sense of shared identity can be based on various factors: common language, religion, culture, or even a belief in the inherent superiority of one's own civilization. It's the idea that we are destined for greatness, that we are chosen to rule. This belief, however unfounded it may be, can be a powerful motivator, driving people to conquer and expand. It's the psychological component of empire building, the fuel that ignites the engine of conquest. The concept of manifest destiny played a significant role in the expansion of the United States, driving westward expansion and justifying the displacement of Native American populations. The belief in their own cultural superiority fueled the expansion of many empires, from the ancient Greeks to the British Empire. This sense of national pride, this belief in a shared destiny, provided the ideological justification for imperial expansion. It was the intangible force that motivated soldiers to fight, citizens to contribute, and rulers to conquer. And it's often the most difficult aspect to understand, the most elusive factor to quantify. How do you measure a nation's belief in its own destiny? How do you quantify the power of an idea? These are the questions that historians grapple with, the mysteries that lie at the heart of imperial rise. But the story doesn't end here. The ascent is only the beginning. The real challenge lies in maintaining that power, in managing the vast and complex entity that an empire becomes. But empires are not static entities. They are living, breathing things, constantly evolving, adapting, and facing new challenges. And within their very success, within the vastness of their reach, lie the seeds of their own destruction. The very logistics of managing a sprawling empire become a Herculean task. Communication lines stretch thin, resources become strained, and the cost of maintaining a massive military presence becomes a crushing burden. The center struggles to hold the periphery together. Consider the Roman Empire. Its vast network of roads and aqueducts, its legions stationed across the far reaches of its domain. Maintaining this vast infrastructure, supplying the legions and administering the provinces required a massive bureaucracy and a constant flow of resources. As the empire grew, these logistical challenges became increasingly difficult to manage. The sheer size of the empire made it difficult to govern effectively. Provinces became increasingly autonomous, and the central government struggled to exert its authority. The vast distances involved made communication slow and unreliable, hindering the ability to respond to crises and maintain control. The cost of maintaining a large standing army to protect the vast borders of the empire became a significant drain on the imperial treasury. And then there's the internal pressure. The diversity that once enriched the empire can become a source of division. Different cultures, different religions, different aspirations clash, creating fissures in the seemingly monolithic structure. Resentment simmers in the conquered territories, waiting for the opportune moment to erupt. Empires often incorporate diverse populations, each with its own distinct culture, language, and religion. While this diversity can be a source of strength in the early stages, it can also lead to internal conflict. Resentment among conquered peoples, religious tensions, and cultural clashes can all threaten the stability of the empire. The center struggles to maintain control over these disparate groups, often resorting to repression and violence, which only fuels further resentment. The Roman Empire, for example, faced constant rebellions and uprisings in its conquered territories. The diverse populations within the empire often felt oppressed and exploited, leading to widespread discontent. The empire's attempts to suppress these rebellions often proved costly and ultimately weakened the empire from within. Religious divisions also played a significant role in the decline of many empires. The rise of new religions or the splintering of existing ones could create internal strife and undermine the unity of the empire. And finally, the external threats. Like vultures circling a dying beast, rival powers watch and wait, eager to seize a piece of the pie. Barbarian hordes at the gates, nomadic tribes raiding the frontiers, rising kingdoms challenging the established order. These are the harbingers of doom, the first cracks in the seemingly impenetrable armor. Empires rarely exist in a vacuum. They are surrounded by other states, some friendly, some hostile. As an empire weakens, these external threats become more pronounced. Barbarian invasions, border raids, and wars with rival powers can all contribute to the empire's decline. The empire, stretched thin and weakened by internal problems, struggles to defend its borders, and the constant pressure from external enemies can eventually lead to its collapse. The Roman Empire, constantly under pressure from barbarian tribes on its borders, eventually succumbed to repeated invasions. The Huns, the Goths, the Vandals, these were just some of the external forces that contributed to the fall of Rome. The empire, weakened by internal strife and economic problems, was unable to withstand the relentless pressure from these external enemies. The constant warfare drained the empire's resources and ultimately led to its disintegration. The Roman Empire, a name that still resonates with power and grandeur, wasn't felled by a single blow. Its decline was a protracted affair, a slow, agonizing process of decay. Internal strife, economic woes, external pressures, all conspired to bring the mighty Roman Empire to its knees. But was it inevitable? Could they have changed their course? Could they have avoided the precipice? These are the questions that keep historians awake at night. And they are the questions that lead us to the next chapter of our story, the fall of empires. What are the common threads that run to the collapse of these once mighty civilizations? What are the hidden weaknesses that ultimately bring them down? What lessons can we learn from their mistakes? Join us next time as we delve into the dark and fascinating world of imperial decline. We'll explore the complex interplay of factors that contribute to the fall of empires, from economic crises and political instability to social unrest and external pressures. We'll examine the case studies of various empires throughout history, looking for patterns and insights that can help us understand the dynamics of power and the fragility of even the most seemingly invincible empires. Stay tuned if you dare. The secrets of imperial collapse await.